Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. Savings Minus Debt. I'm your host, LJ Young. This wasn't scheduled or anything, and I just decided to come on. So some of mine are just like that. When I feel it, I jump on. So I know a lot of people get upset at that, but hey, it just is what it is. This works for me. But as usual, I'm going to give everybody time to get up in here so we can get started. Give it about 3 minutes, and then I'll introduce myself for those of you who do not know me. I'm starting to see, Life for Business says, purge the slaves. Yeah, I'm noticing I'm starting to get an uptick in subscribers, and that was before getting on with Ramil recently, right? That was before that. I'm starting to get an uptick. So what that means is it's finally really starting to catch traction. I know the word slave really catches people. See, and people don't really understand why I use that, because it catches people, you know? They hear that slave, they're like, oh, they're just shocked. But when they try to, some people hear the word slave and then they'll say, oh my God, how can you do that? You're black and this and that. Or they'll say, how can you just desecrate this? No. And then you know what I say to them? I go, the borrower is slave to the lender. You know that statement? And they say, yeah. I'll say, where is that statement at? It's in the Bible, right? Yeah. So what are you talking about? If you have a mortgage, the lender is the bank and you're the slave, right? Right. So it ain't got nothing to do with that. It just got something to do with you being a slave. What's up, Toronto? Debt-free Thanksgiving in Canada. That's what I'm talking about. So we got about 30 more seconds, and then we're gonna get started. What's up, Andre? What's going on? My fellow alien? Believe that. It's a whole different world. And I want you guys to notice that, my alienism had to come out slowly, right? You can't just come talk. You can't just wake up and start talking alien all over the world. People think you're crazy. You gotta really gradually integrate it into your person. That's what I've had to do. I've had to get over the fact, oh my God, I shouldn't say slave. That'll offend a lot of people. Now it's at the point, I don't care. I don't care what slaves think. Know why I say it like that? Because slaves choose to be slaves. They choose it. How do they choose it? By not trusting mathematics. As simple as that. Period. Then it says, where's the marketplace where I can buy things from slaves, LJ? It's everywhere. It's everywhere around you. All you got to do is just listen. The deals are everywhere, because you got to remember, slaves are everywhere. There is no particular section of town. It doesn't matter if they live in the rich part of town or the poor part of town or the middle class part of town. Once you come on this side, you'll know none of that means anything, because none of it exists. They're all in debt. They don't even realize it doesn't matter where you live. If you're below zero, you're below zero. No matter what part of town you live in, you are in debt. There's the slaves, man. They're everywhere. All you got to do is listen. They'll start talking debt. Oh my God, my student loans are too high. This car payment's killing me. This gap insurance is really costing me a lot of money. That's debt talk. Now, slaves, they don't know what they're saying. They really believe they get cars when they on sale, financing them for 84 months. It's everywhere. They'll tell you on Facebook, hey, I got a raise. Look, I deserve a new car. And then they'll go and finance a brand new car just because they got a raise and they feel like they deserve it. They have no idea what they've just done. They said by doing a move like that, they put themselves like 5 steps back. They went up in the tax bracket. Now they got a car payment plus taxes. It just compounds well over well over the raise they think they got minus taxes. It's crazy. Slaves are everywhere, man. Deals are everywhere. What's up, Uncle? All right, my name is LJ Young, and I'm a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them financially see outside what I call a debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where everybody lives that believes in credit and debt, finance, and everything that goes down in value, and cannot figure out why they're living paycheck to paycheck, even though they keep financing things that go down in value, right? This is where they live, and they don't know they live there, but they don't know they live there because they simply don't trust math. That's the only reason why they believe that world exists, right? Until now, I'm not shaming anybody because that's where I lived for the first 40 years of my life before I woke up. I didn't wake up till age 40 and realized I was doing it all wrong, right? But it was all because I didn't trust math. Found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey said, hey, take the grade school math that you learned, apply it to your finances, and you win with money. That was it. Boom, done. Now I'm free. I am so free that my whole life has changed forever. Once you understand, once you cross over, there is no going back. I want you to clearly, I want you to hear it in my voice when I say it to you. Once you cross over, there is no going back. You cannot live amongst the slaves. You can't. You know, once you cross over, you will know their purpose. Your feelings will be removed from it because you'll know that they're choosing it by choosing to not trust the laws of mathematics. They're choosing it. That will help you remove your feelings and feeling sorry for them and, oh my God, woe is me. Well, you just ask them. You got student loans? Yeah. How long did you go to college? 4 years. You graduated 25 years ago. Why are you still paying on student loans? See, only slaves do that. They don't even have an answer for you why they do. You know what their answer is? Oh, everybody does it. They don't know what they're saying. What they're really saying, all the slaves do it. That's what they're really saying. They're not, when they say everybody right there, they don't even know what they're saying. If they say everybody, that includes me. If they said, slaves always like to say, everybody does it. As soon as you hear the word everybody, you have to know they have no idea what they're talking about because everybody would include me. And I know for 100% fact that that's not true. Those are key words when you hear slaves talk. They don't know that. They don't know they're saying that. They wouldn't even know it if you told them. And so what I do is help people come out of the debt matrix by exposing what I call the glitches in the debt matrix. Things that don't make mathematical sense. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Let me give you an example. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example of a major glitch. This is the glitch in the debt matrix. This will so you give you an idea what a glitch is, okay? So you can fully understand this. What this means, right? Now, if you add up all your savings and add up all your debt, and for those of you that are too lazy to do that, just log into your Credit Karma. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. I want you to log in and grab that large negative number, okay, and write it down. And then I want you to go savings. Savings mean the money, the cash that you have in your hand that's in your bank account. Not tied up in equity and all this property. No, don't count any of that. I'm just saying the cash that you have in your hand. And then I want you to go savings minus that large negative number equals your net worth. Now, here's the glitch, okay? When you see that large negative number, you have a choice to believe it or not believe it. Even though the math is telling you what is, it's saying if you add up your savings and your debt and it equals this large negative number, that's your net worth. You can choose to believe your math at this moment, or you can choose not to. If you choose not to, you remain a slave until you're dead. If you choose to believe your own math, that is step One. Then you'll start to look around and say, why everybody around me is doing it? Doesn't matter. Is the math true to what everybody's doing around you? No. Then they're all doing it wrong. It doesn't matter how they feel about it. That's irrelevant. That's the glitch. Now, if you don't think it's true today, you might get upset at hearing me about it, hearing me say it or whatever. One thing about it, it's going to stick in your brain. And then 5 years from now, you're going to remember what I'm saying to you. You can be like, damn, LJ told me that shit 5 years ago. Hell, it might be 10 years from now. Then you're going to look back and say, damn, LJ told me that shit 10 years ago. And you know what's else crazy? Let me tell you something. These videos I make right now, time has no relevance. 5 years from now, these videos will be relevant. 10 years from now, these videos will be relevant. It will never change. You know why? Because math never changes. When you guys come to this channel, I know you're thinking in your brain that you never heard of such a channel like mine. I know that. I'm telling you that. You won't. Somebody that can tell you something that's hard to believe but can 100% prove it to be true with mathematics, you won't find anybody on the internet like this. I promise you that. The title of this video, The Economy Will Crash Without Slaves. And I want to tell you slaves something, okay? And I want you to hear it clearly. This economy would not function without you. We need you. That's very important for you to believe in credit scores. It's very important that you believe you can't buy a car without financing it. That is very, very important. We need you to believe you are homeowners with 30-year mortgages. We need you to believe that. That's important. Nobody's, when you're in the debt matrix, you hear that the rich people are bad people and they're evil and they want to hoard and this. No, it's none of that. That's a trick too. That's an illusion. Once you cross over, you will clearly see there's plenty for everybody. There's no room for scheming and scamming and lying and cheating on the IRS and hiding your taxes and hiding money. There's absolutely no reason or purpose for it. None. Once you understand, you will understand how it all works. That's why I always say you stay and you run fast away anybody cheating on their taxes. You run fast. Anybody that sounds like they want to skirt something or pretend something's there and claim it and you can get extra money, you don't deal with people like that. They don't understand it because you know why? I'm telling you right now, there is no reason to cheat it. There is none. People in slaves, you guys don't understand it. None of this would work without you. You have a pattern. And I'm gonna tell you your pattern, but you still probably won't believe it. And it really doesn't matter. You know what your pattern is? You don't trust mathematics. That's your pattern. So if you cheat on your taxes, you're really obvious to find. Why? Because your math will never make sense ever. It can't. Your math will never make sense. When you understand the rules, you just follow the rules. Then you don't have to worry about getting in trouble. You just follow the rules. If you take the time and do the opposite of the majority and follow the rules, you will see it for what it is. Taxes hurt people who don't trust mathematics. That's the only type of people taxes hurt. If you trust math, then you'll see the purpose of taxes. Slaves, we need you. Sorry, I got some ice in my mouth. The further I get out, I truly see the purpose of slaves. And you know what? What's so crazy? Somebody designed this. Somebody designed this economy. Somebody designed it. There's one you guys can see, the slaves. You guys see one economy, but when you get out of the debt matrix, I promise you there's another one. I promise you that. Slaves can't see it. You know why? Because you don't trust math. You'll never be able to see it if you don't trust math. You can't. It's impossible. And if you're like, if you've been in debt all your life and you're a scammer, let me tell you, financial scammers only scam slaves. It doesn't matter the amount of money you make. It really doesn't matter. Financial scammers scam slaves. Why? Because a scammer is to take your money. If it's designed to take your money, that means it won't make any mathematical sense. You do the math, you would clearly see it doesn't make sense. You'll know it's a scam. That's why they're obvious. They're like red beacons. They're not doing anything. They're just preying on slaves because you guys don't trust mathematics. That's why we need you. You feed slaves feed everyone. All you got to do is go over to social media. You'll see slaves all day long talking slave. They have no idea what they're saying. None of them. I just be looking at them like, damn, but we need them. Somebody designed this shit, man. Somebody designed it. That's something I'm sure I will never know who did that. But you guys don't even get it. This was an idea in somebody's head. That's crazy to me right now. That is absolutely bananas. Somebody sat down and said, hey, if I did this and put the taxes here and make the people do this and make them believe in this green paper and then they'll just do whatever. Exactly. Bam. And it works. It works. It's absolutely bananas. But hey, I keep telling you, man, I understand the purpose of slaves. We need you. None of this would work without slaves. None of this, man. You keep financing washer and dryers and 30-year mortgages and taking the equity out of the houses that you don't own and believing you're going to borrow the bank's money on the bank's house to pay off the bank's cars and bank's credit cards with no input money from yours. That is absolutely brilliant. We need you. We need you guys big time. None of this would work without slaves, man. That is just, I can't believe I was a slave for so long. 40 years, man, before I woke up. College educated, all that, computer engineer, top of the third tier, all that stupid bullshit. Until my identity, so funny, I was so deep in debt. The only thing I had to hang on to was my job title. That was the only thing. Now that I'm out of that and understand how it works, now that I'm out of that, I'm like, damn, that was the last thing I had to walk around and say, hey, I'm a computer engineer. I got 4 years of college, all that stupid nonsense. Thought it meant anything. I was still in debt. I was just a college educated, high paid slave. That's it. It wasn't nothing. It took me a year. Check this out, guys. It took me a year to break that off of me. That took me a year to break that LJ's an engineer off of me, and it just to let it go. All the years I put in, I worked my way up to the top and this and that. If I just stop working, man, And then I was about a year out and I was like, damn, man, it's going to be hard for me to get. I was still thinking that way. It's going to be hard for me to get a job, man. I've been out of work for a year. Then it went on to 2 years and then 3 years. I'm like, damn, that's a big ass gap. I'll never, till I finally had to just to let that shit go. That's what the point was. Let it go. And then I finally let it go. Now, when somebody asks me, I just say, yeah, I used to do IT. Yeah, years ago. The system is amazing, man. And you guys that follow me, I thank you. I thank you guys follow me, man. And then when I go on other channels, I see you guys out there and you guys be representing, letting no alien. I mean, don't be ashamed to say any of it too. That's what I want, man. You guys be jumping in the chat rooms. Oh man, these slaves playing. I'll be like, yeah, that's exactly how I want those guys to speak. Doesn't matter if it offends slaves, so what? Even though this economy will crash without slaves, I'm telling you, slaves, you guys are important, man. It's bad that you get taken advantage of because you guys. What's funny in the debt matrix, there's slaves that understand a higher level of money, of debt and stuff like that, and then they trick other slaves with it, right? Because they know slaves will believe people with shiny things, right? Cars, houses, blah blah blah. That's why they always put it in the background so you slaves to believe it. You see somebody making a video and you'll see he might be at a house with a pool and a Porsche in the driveway, and you would just automatically connect that with him when none of that has anything to do with anything. That's only there for slaves. That's how we know who they're catering to when you see that type of stuff. You see somebody come out the bank and drop $12,000 in the seat, and they're appealing to slaves. That means nothing to people that understand money. When we see that, we know immediately who they're looking for. Slaves. When you see a movie star trying to tell you about how to get your credit, and then they show a quick clip of them, and then all of a sudden there's regular people after that telling you to do this and that and do. That's why they put the star in the front, so they appeal to slaves. If you guys do that, you would understand that. But it's business. I get it. I'm not disrupting the. Hey, I know why they're doing it. What's up, Eric? Screen Learn says it's because of programming and training that we get from family. Yep. Friends, community, and public private school education. Slaves repeat things without thinking because they don't know they are slaves. Right. They don't even know. And you know what, Screen? I understand why that. I mean, honestly, man, I really understand now. I always repeat this because I think it's very important. I remember I used to love math and money games when I was in grade school, right? I used to love the shit out of that shit, right? Back then when they was using money to we was using math with money back then when I was in school, right? But I remember leaving grade school and I remember we didn't have any more math and money games outside of grade school, right? And I remember saying to myself, I'm like, why did that stop? Because it bothered me. I thought we was going to continue on and just do more and more money, math and money games, but it stopped in grade school. Now I know why it stopped. You know why it stopped? Because that is all you need. What they taught me right there in grade school was the only thing I needed to become a multimillionaire. That was all I needed. Plus, minus, division, and times tables. That's about it. Nothing more than that. The only thing nobody around me for the first 40 years of my life, nobody came to me and said, hey, Linnell, you know that math you learned in grade school, that math and money games? Yeah. Use that on your real money. Always, Linnell, always do that. Always use that on your real money. So if you come across something that doesn't make mathematical sense, it will never make financial sense either. Nobody in 40 years told me that. I was a slave walking around here like these millions of other slaves. I was one of you guys, man. I was one of you guys. I can't even count how many cars I financed, thought I was the shit. Making car payments. The very reason why I'm making car payments, guess what? Because I couldn't afford to buy the car. Hence, car payments. Isn't that just so obvious? It's so obvious. You know why I didn't see it? Because all the other slaves around me was doing the same thing. Never once did I stop and say, hey, wait a minute. The reason why I'm making car payments is because I couldn't afford to buy the car in cash. Why is that? I never said that to myself. Never. Hence, nothing came to me and says, hence the reason why you're making car payments, LJ. Duh. Hey, Linnell, you know, if you finance that car for 84 months, you didn't get it for that sale price, right, Linnell? You know that, right? If you finance it, the sale price doesn't apply to you. Nobody said that to me. You know what the slaves always say? Hey, what kind of interest rate did you get? Hey, was your credit score good enough? You didn't have to put money. That they just talked slave. That's called slave splaining. You think I knew slave splaining existed? Mm-mm. When you're a slave, you don't know you're talking slave. If you finance your cell phone every single year so you can get the latest phone, you're a slave. Don't you know that? You got to know that, right? You're financing a cell phone and you're doing it every year. Only slaves do that. But again, we need you. That's important that you do. Hey, you know what? It's even important if you hear me say this and you cuss at me and say, "Oh, fuck you, Linnell, you ain't shit." That's important for you to that's important for you to say that to me. It's very important. I promise you. I know it doesn't make sense. I know it won't make sense to you. Say, hey, how can I curse at you and it still makes sense? It does because it needs to be that way. It need even though you could type these numbers in your calculator and see that I'm true, but you're still cursing at me, even though the math on the calculator says I'm true, right? And you're still mad. That's important. That's called cognitive dissonance. Look it up. Just look it up, and then I want you to say to yourself, "Damn, why am I mad? Why am I mad at him, even though the math is right?" I guess he's right. I didn't have the money to buy this house, so technically, I really am not the homeowner because I didn't have the money. Exactly. Then you got to say, then why am I calling myself one? See, those are the things right there. Those are the glitches. But we need you guys. What's up, Nicer? Eric said, "What's up, farmer slaves?" Decent Wood says, "Someone told me you can avoid interest on a house mortgage if you pay it off faster." I have no idea what that even means. You know how many things are in that those two sentences right there? There's so many variables in there that you can't even count. Anybody that told me something like that, I would say, "Hey man, let me see your personal credit report." Because I'd be like, what you just said doesn't really make any sense. So let me see your personal credit. Your personal credit report will explain to me why you say this. And by what you're saying, I pretty much already know what your credit report looks like. It's just like a hand in glove. I can't explain that part. What's up, Mecca? The great 23 is talking slave and acting like it. Sure do. They don't know it though. They're important. We need this economy will crash without you. What do you think they're doing all through the 1600s? This has always been like this. The only thing that changes is the time it's happening. That's it. I want you guys to understand something. The base of the whole thing is all you have to do is believe in math. No, not believe, because math is an exact science. All you have to do is trust math, and it won't matter what time in the time in your life won't matter anymore. Once you trust mathematics, time is irrelevant. The time of the year, this time, hey, the 90s was this and this was that. None of that will matter anymore. Time will become irrelevant. Don't ask me to explain that. I don't know how to explain that part. The best way I can sort of explain is like this. 1 + 1 will equal 2. 1 + 1 equaled 2 before I was born. 1 + 2 equaled 2 when I was 10. 1 + 2 equals 2 when I was 20. 1 + 2 equals 2 when I was 30, 40, 50. See how time never changes? It's always 2. That's what I mean. That's how life will be for you. And as long as the majority, which is important, as long as the majority continue to not trust mathematics, that's important. So when you guys hear me talk about the system, I'm not saying anything negative about the system because it's just there. The system works better for those who trust mathematics. The system is against those who don't. That's it. Screen Learner says the international bankers and central banks design the system, but the system has rules and needs people to play. If not, there would be a war. Yeah, this will never change. Okay, this is world. When I speak, this is worldwide. All you got to all economies run mathematically. They have to. Okay, it doesn't matter where, what economy, and what part of the country. It doesn't matter. They have to follow the laws of mathematics for it to work. So if you go to another country, you know their economy is going to be based on debt. You know it's going to be debt. So you just, well, okay, this piece of paper equals that. Okay, the majority here are slaves, just like every place else. So, or it wouldn't work, right? The majority must be slaves. And then you just okay, how do you guys do things here? Okay. You earn this, you got to pay that, this blah blah blah, and you just follow it. Okay, and that's it. And you really don't even have to. I don't even really have to know another economy's how it works, because I would know how to go to the other. I would know how to pick the person that does know, because they will have something similar to identify a person how they do with money. Just like our credit system here, that economy will have something. They have to. That's important to know. That's important information. That's how they keep track of slaves. They got to keep track of them. So you'll just go there and adapt. That's it. Because you got to understand, when you're slaves, no money in any form doesn't exist, but you guys don't know that. They just shine some, hey, this gold equals that. You know why? Because it's gold. You know, they just tell you that, right? You just say, oh, that shiny piece of block that means it's worth something. When you're in the negative, it's not worth anything. It's not worth anything to you. Nothing. And remember, slaves, I can prove everything I'm saying with mathematics. I'm not just making this up. It's not sort of, kinda. Oh, it's just his opinion. No, what I'm saying to you is 100% fact. And it will be every time. We need you slaves to continue to put them degrees up on the walls, and they're not even paid for. They're not. We need you to continue to believe that and be proud of it too. Post it up there. Boom! I graduated from this college. So what? You're just a college educated slave. You don't even own that piece of paper you put up on the wall. We need you. Doesn't matter if you like the words coming out of my mouth. Doesn't matter. I don't care how slaves feel about mathematics. I don't. This is what allows me to keep my feelings out of it. I don't care about slaves who don't trust mathematics. You guys don't matter until we need you to matter. Nobody's hiding anything from you. The rich are not evil. They're not just, hey, we're keeping all the money. That's all an illusion. It's all a lie. Not even a lie. Even calling it a lie is wrong. You can't see it because you don't trust mathematics. Let me stop saying it's a lie. James Sandman says, I can't take car slave talk. I need a shower after conversation. I know, right? It's bad. But you know what? You'll get used to it. You guys that understand how it really works, you have to get used to it. That's the only way you're going to make money. Um, this okay. This is what I want you to do. Okay, when you cross over, I want you to start listening to the big boys, whoever you watch. Whoever's the biggest, inspires you. I want you to listen to them differently now. I want you to listen to them with your debt-free eyes, and then you can watch and see how they do it. They involve feelings. Uh, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just telling you what is. Okay, this is what they understand how it works. They involve feelings, family, blah blah blah. They just throw all in there. Then that's how they grab people. When you start a business, that's what you're going to do. That's how you do it. But you got to remember, when you're doing it naturally, like it's your like your gift, all these things will naturally come out. Okay, I don't have to make up what I'm saying, right? So I want you to listen to the difference between passion and one that sounds like it's made up. Okay, there's a difference. There's a difference. You can feel it. You can listen to somebody's voice and say, "Man, that dude ain't lying. I can hear it in his voice." Yeah, and that's what I want to make sure when you guys hear my voice. I want you to understand that I'm always right. I'm never wrong, ever. My math will always be right. What's up, son? Very brilliant system. Yes, it is. L. Johnson says, this chick told me she financed her entire living room set. See how they say it out loud? Just say it right out loud. Slave explaining. I financed my whole living room set. Damn, slave. But we need you. We need them to do stuff like that and tell everybody about it. And this is why we need to, if they keep telling everybody about it, all the other slaves will believe it start to be normal. That's how it really works. Oh, my girlfriend, my mama did it, my daddy did it, my cousin did it. That's cool. We can finance it. Our credit's good. That's exactly what they want you to do. Start to believe it. That's why it's important for slaves to say things like that out loud. Oh, I got a great deal on this car, man. Go see my friend. Man, he's a great guy, and he really all that stupid nonsense. None of that makes anything. Go see your guy. Does he own the dealership? Yeah, then he can't give me no. Does your friend own the dealership, or does he just work there? Oh, he just works there. Then he can't give me the deal what I'm talking about. Why? Because he works there. I thought you were talking about the owner of the dealership. Front loaded interest was the greatest plan ever thought of. When I first, every day I discover something new. When somebody told me mortgages are front loaded, I said, oh my God, that's check and mate. They were like, yeah, mortgages are all front loaded. I was like, damn, checkmate. They know right off the bat of how many slaves believe they're homeowners while having mortgages. And half those people, they don't even know why they're getting mortgages. Why? Because they can't afford to buy the home. This is no different than a car. Selling the dream. Hey, dream of home ownership. Forgot totally be. Hey, what do you mean? I got to be asleep to be dreaming, right? Yeah, you got to be asleep. You got to be asleep to live the dream they keep trying to tell you. But hey, man, it's a dream because you don't trust mathematics. So they get these people that cannot afford homes. No, they ain't gonna be in them long. Refinancing them over and over and over. Bam. They're getting all that money right up front, knowing these guys ain't paying off these houses. Why? Because the whole time, those people believe they are homeowners. They believe they own the equity in a house that they don't even own. They even be adding that equity to their portfolios. You can't even trust a portfolio unless you see it. People be throwing that around. Oh man, my portfolio has this and that, and you don't know nothing until you see the personal credit report. Listen, their personal credit report is their real portfolio. Okay, that's the real one. Their personal credit report, not their credit score, their credit report, all three. You want to see all three of them. That's their real portfolio. I promise you. They can't touch that one. They can't manipulate that one. That I guarantee you they can't manipulate that one. What's up, Amizi? What's going on? Yes, clothing, jet cars, houses, all that stuff, man. I heard they are renting out jets where they can take pictures inside the jet for videos and you know, I was like, damn, they be tricking these slaves. See somebody in a private jet, and I guess they think they got money. Why? They're in their jet, right? Okay, well, I guess so. I'm sorry. Hey, slaves, we need you. We need you to continue believing that stuff, man. I think that's what I realized too. Humble says, "This is why old people say it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep." That's exactly right. I remember hearing that when I was in the debt matrix all the time. You think I listened? No, I didn't listen. Didn't listen at all. But see, even when you're in the debt matrix, right? You hear stuff like that, you don't really know what that means, right? You just think, oh, that's just an old person saying something. See, this is the difference between me hearing something like that and me telling you this. I'm showing you with mathematics. That was the piece I was missing when I would hear statements like that. Hey, keep more than you make and save and blah, blah, blah. If somebody would say, hey, check this out. We're gonna sit down and do it on some paper so you can see it in mathematics so you can see. Nobody said that to me. That's the difference with this channel. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you the answer. Thank you, Nicer. Screen Learn says the easiest way to see the slave change is to understand that liabilities are what you pay, assets are what pay you or are what pay you. People will then see, hopefully, that using debt to buy houses and cars is enslavement. You know, so crazy. It's like see, this is I go one step lower, Screen Learning. This is what I do. First, you have to clearly define what assets mean to slaves. They don't know. They have so many different versions of what assets only mean one thing. But if you ask a slave what an asset is, each one will think it's an asset. Like somebody with a 30-year mortgage will believe their house is an asset. So their definition of asset is not the real asset, right? Because they believe how's your house an asset if you don't even own it? You don't even own it. Or they'll think some believe cars are assets, right? So you got to make sure it's clear what asset means. Because they'll think, oh man, my house is an asset and it pays me. I got this renter over here and he's doing this, and they think stupid stuff like that. That's the only reason why I can't even use the language that you're saying. I clearly understand what you're saying, Screen Learning. I totally understand that, but I take it a step below your statement. I have to bring it all the way down. Because even in your statement, you're assuming people know what liabilities mean. That's why you're throwing in your statement, oh, liabilities is this. Half the people don't even know what liabilities mean. I mean, the true word, the true definition of it. Same thing with assets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1 plus 2 equals 3. Leroy says, how did you enjoy arguing with all those cats on Ramil? You know what? I didn't really consider them really arguing. You know, they kept Ramil and I would keep We kept saying, hey, there's a difference between personal finance. I'm only talking about personal. They kept jumping back and forth, right? And I want you guys to understand, when you guys hear people doing that, when you guys hear people talking about money and borrowing money, you got to clearly be understand, are you talking personally or are you talking business? That must be clear, because what slaves don't understand, when you guys hear some billionaire talking about talking about how much they love debt and they use debt for leverage and this and that and blah blah blah. I know, slaves hear what they want to hear, but what you don't understand is that they're doing it on the business side. When they're talking business. But if you listen to them and you think they're talking to you about personal, that's where you're messing up. When you hear them leveraging debt, they're talking about, number one, with real money, and they're talking about business debt. Okay, I promise you there's a huge difference. There's so many differences. But if you take it and think you're going to do the same thing personally, they're not talking to you. Mecca says, I heard that show Fargo with Chris Rock explains how credit card was discovered, how blacks was the first to discover it because we had to buy a lot on credit. When I hear, now that I'm debt free, man, now when I hear old stories like that, I question it now. Because credit still doesn't make sense at any point in time in history. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. Credit just doesn't make mathematical sense. And if you just did math, you would clearly see that. It doesn't matter the time or who it is. And I want most of you guys listening to this, when you guys ready to cross over, stop falling for the distractions. Debt is the colorblind slave master. All it sees is green. It doesn't care where you live. It doesn't care what color your skin is. It doesn't care if you're who you're picking for president. It doesn't care. None of that matters. Do the numbers make sense? No, then you're a slave. Period. Does it exist? Yes, it exists. It's true. Yeah, what you're seeing, hey, the majority of blacks and the whites and the Jews have that. Yeah, that's true. You know what it really is? Let me tell you what it really is so you can understand. Those are the groups of people that trust mathematics more. That's it. It doesn't matter who they are, the color of their skin, nothing. The majority of those people, they trust math. I bet you if you somehow Googled, hey, what nationality trusts math, it probably looked just like the economy map. That's it. Nothing more. None of this is a secret. None of you just you can't see it because you don't trust math. That's it. There's plenty for everybody. You don't have to lie, cheat, and steal from people and take their money and blah blah blah. You don't have to do none of that stupid nonsense. The big boys promote people being slaves and justify it. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right. I will never listen to Warren Buffett and Grant Cardone the same again. Also, Dave Ramsey. They are all equal to slave patrol. Okay. All right, Screenland, I get what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying. But what they're doing is business. Okay, I look at it this way. None of this would work without slaves, okay? This is how you can kind of look at them different, okay? Slaves are slaves by choice. Okay, they're slaves by choice. So what they're doing is using everything they're doing is legal, okay? It's absolutely legal, but that's just, if you ever want to be rich, that's what you got to do. You have to do that if you want to become rich. You have to do that. I mean, and they're actually helping people. I mean, some of these things help people, right? If they're helping people, great. But on the same time, to help you remove your feelings about what they do, man, they're doing what they need to. That's what you have to do to make money. Now, am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to do that. I mean, they're not doing anything wrong. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to make it sound like they're doing something. They're not. They're just, it's business, you know. When I see Grant Cardone in the Rolls Royce talking, I think to myself, okay, I know why he's in the Rolls Royce talking. I understand. As soon as the people see the RR on the head case, they're like on the headrest, they're like, "Ooh, he's driving in a Rolls Royce. Look at it. He's dressed nice." I get it. I totally get why they do that, right? That's only irritating to people like us. It's like, oh shit, what are you talking about? Okay, what are you actually trying to sell? That's all I'm trying to see. Mathematics is the best thing to win in life. In math, I trust you. If you always trust math, the younger you get this, you will stop being a slave, and you can't go back. You can't go back, and you can't talk about it because they won't believe you. Okay, so if you cross over and you want to keep your friends, you cannot talk about it to them, because if you do, you're going to lose your friends. The bank sold the lie of home ownership to sell a bunch of bad debt. Yep, the bank is the real homeowner. The government, through taxes, is another. Yeah, that's how it all works. Sure does. I think personally, and let me tell you guys something. I think that is absolutely brilliant. Millions of people believe they're homeowners. That is just, I mean, when I sit back and just really just look at this, sometimes I say, damn, if they kicked out everybody out of their house, those who've had a mortgage, if they kicked everybody out onto the street, the housing market would literally crash. It would crash. Check this out. There could be no housing market without slaves. There couldn't be one. Do you guys see how important you are? That you guys are so important. You guys don't even understand. That was a good one, LJ. Screen Learn says, dang, you talking to real slaves. I know, right? You're welcome, man. You know what, Screen Learn? I really am. Like, for example, like when I listen to your channel, I've done a couple times. I was like, damn, he's at that high level shit, right? And I'm not ashamed to say that, right? I'm not ashamed to say that. But this is how I look at it. I don't really even want to know what you know. Okay, I know it sounds, but all I need to know is that when I want it done, I know who to come to do it the way I want them to do it, because now I know you are debt free. So you know something, and I don't even know if you know this, Screen Learning, or if you ever looked at this. But if you're not, I want you to listen to something real close. When you're debt free, you know something more than anybody else in the field that you're doing. The difference between you and them is that they're coming from a debt perspective and you're coming from a debt free perspective. That's the difference. They don't know that. They don't know that. It was cool, man. SD Supreme says, great show, LJ. I was looking into the COVID rent out, and my governor did include mortgage holders. Wow. I'm gonna tell you, slave, something that you can't see. Okay, and some of you may believe me, some of you may not. It really doesn't matter. Okay, what's really happening is they're clearing the board. They're clearing the board. They know people in debt with mortgages, they won't be able to last. Actually, they've already known that. Okay, they already know how much debt you're in, so they already know ahead who's going to tilt, who's going to need foreclosure benefits and delinquent pay. That's already known. They're just clearing the board of all the fakers. There's too many of you guys out there. You're confusing the other slaves. You guys are really now. Now the new economy is going to start. Now the players can come back, but the whole game has changed now. Whether you recognize the game has changed is totally up to you. But I hope you recognize that it's changed and it changed forever. So what you thought you knew and what you were doing before 2020, that's all negated now. It doesn't matter. The only thing that's constant is mathematics. So if you were scamming in 2019, you got to come up with a different scam in 2020 because things are different. The slave is the asset. Sure is. You better believe it. The economy would crash without slaves. We need you guys, man. And the people that get offended by the word slaves are slaves. Only a slave would get offended by the word slave. Why is that? Because you're a slave. If somebody called me a slave, I wouldn't be offended by it. I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever you say. Leroy says, what exactly is the mathematical formula to calculate how to figure your credit score anyway? I know exactly, Leroy. Who knows? Whatever they make up. Hey, Leroy, they be coming up with this FICO 9, FICO 10, FICO 10.5. They just be making up shit. And the slaves just believe it. They just be like that. That kind of stuff just blows my mind. When they become, oh man, the new FICO, it won't allow you to do this, and then you can't link accounts. I'd be like, what the fuck? I'd be like, I'd be like, oh my God. They'd be like making videos on this shit. Okay, here's what you can and you cannot do in FICO 10.5. You can do this and you can't. I was like, oh, you poor slaves. They are doing you so dirty. ST Supreme says, endured indentured servitude to slavery to wage slavery, mass incarnation. It, it's a choice, man. It's a choice. Like when I start coming into money and doing all that, I'm coming to Screen Learning. I'm saying, hey, he knows my view. Hey, man, you can't be in debt. Telling me you can't be in debt. Talking about money to me. He already knows that. That's right off the bat. I can already skip that step. Because when I get a CPA, when my money starts really coming in, I get a CPA, a tax person, my requirement is going to be able to see their personal credit report first. It doesn't matter what you slaves think. It doesn't matter. There's a huge difference. Huge. That's a requirement. And I have to see it every 6 months too, because things change. People might get caught up in an emotional relationship and might just go off on the deep end. Nah, you're not with me. Mm-mm. If you get with somebody and you let another human being take you under into debt, hey, you can't be on my team. Sorry. Oh man, I had to get her this. Yeah, I'm sorry too. See you later. Andre, the mortgage is the asset. I know, man. I'm still, so crazy. I'm still, it still comes to me in pieces, right? But Andre said this a few weeks ago, man. It kind of like blew my freaking dome off. I bet you, if I could walk up to a slave and say, "Hey, man, you do know the mortgage is the asset, really?" They would like look at me like, "What? What are you talking about?" They would look at me like I'm an alien. You okay? Listen. If you guys want to know what an alien feels like, this is what I want you to do. Okay? I want you to go up to one of your friends that believe they're a homeowner, and this is what I want you to say to them. I want you to say, "Hey, your mortgage is the asset," and then I want you to look at their face. Look at it and tell me if it looks blank. You know why they're looking at that? Like, you know why they're responding like that? Because they're looking at you like you said, like you just spoke another language, like an alien. That's what life is like for me. That's what it's like. You guys want to know a taste of it? Go do that. Say, hey, man, you know your mortgage is an asset. They'll be like, what? Oh, shoot. What's up, Alicia? How you doing? Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Underground says, I hated the idea of having money that's not mine, but to give back and a due. Oh, mine, but to give back and a due date. I know. Ooh, that's horrible, man. And slaves got so many bills, right? Let me tell you, slave something. All right, listen. You guys have so many bills with so many due dates. Guess what? That's impossible for you to keep up with those due dates. You are gonna miss a few every single month. You know how much money that is? Now that I'm out of the debt matrix, I'm just saying, man, you guys are just done so dirty. Ooh, you done so dirty. So dirty. The consumer client is the consumer client is the asset for sure. And check this out. Okay, listen, slaves. That's what I want you to do. Because I know you guys most of you guys are still like bewildered. You're like, oh, he's just talking shit and this and that. This is what I want you to do. All right. I want you to go grab a game of Monopoly. I want you to read the rules on Monopoly. All right. See if you can find like, hey, when you pay a tax on the ring tax, it goes under free parking, and whoever lands on free parking gets it. I want you to find that rule on the box. Or the money gets put in the center of the board, and whoever lands on this gets to get the stack. I want you to go find that rule on the box. It doesn't exist. Now I want you to think this way. How many times did you play Monopoly that everybody you played with went by those rules? How many times? Every single time? I know when I played Monopoly, that was in the game every single time. I thought that was natural. No, it's not. You know what that tells you? All of those people are doing the same thing, but with real money. With real money. That doesn't exist. Where you get free money from when you come out in the city? When they collect some taxes, is there somewhere you land on free parking and you win all of them? No, that doesn't exist. But it always existed with you and your friends when you played Monopoly. Every single one of you thought it was part of the game. No, it's not. That means nobody. Check this out. That also means nobody read the rules of the game of Monopoly themselves. That's fucked up. Ooh, that's messed up. That's hardcore, man. That's a hard pill to swallow, man. It really is. It's a hard pill to swallow. But the faster you swallow it, the faster you're gonna become free. Okay, just put it that way. Sure is. The taxpayer is the asset. They don't even understand that. They don't even be trying to go in that. Leroy says, I'd just rather work a little harder to make more money than to borrow it. Heck, I don't even like asking people for change. And you got to remember, once you're debt free, you don't have to worry about the prices of anything anymore because there's more slaves than not. They're always selling for what they have for cheap. Why? Because either they need money like they always do, or they're trying to save their credit. It doesn't matter to you. Slavery is a choice indeed. Sure is. Leroy says people believing that they're homeowners while paying mortgage or goof. Sure is. They'd be like, I'm a homeowner. At least you get the money and you get it back and the equity in the house. I'm building equity. I'm like, oh, that's just a program. It's like a program. They all say it. They don't listen. They don't know they all say that. That's just a program. Hey, I got a house. It's an asset. I'm a homeowner. I can get the equity and do this and pay off the cars and this and that. They think they can take the bank's money, borrow the bank's money again. Not they got the house, the first mortgage, then they take out a second mortgage. They think they can borrow the bank's money twice, take the bank's money to pay off the bank's cars. And then they really believe they're a homeowner with paid off cars. That shit is absolutely brilliant. See the way I just walked you through it? That somebody came up with that. Somebody came up with that because you know how many times in my life I heard somebody said they refinanced their house and paid off their cars. Now, back when I was in debt, I thought that was impressive to me. I don't know why that impressed me, but I was like, ooh, now he got some paid off cars. No, we don't. He or she didn't pay off anything. You can't borrow the money to pay off a debt. That's like digging yourself out of a hole. Crazy, man. We need you slaves, though. I am debt free. I had to wrestle with my mind to take off my chains. Yep, yep. We are important because the government pledged us as collateral to the central banks after America was declared bankrupt in 1933. This is how I look at it, Screen Learner. The more I see, there's no way we could be a threat in any form. It's too big. It's too and I don't really even look at it that way because there's not many of us that understand the true system. I think even that is an illusion. The more I cross over, I just like there's so much room for everything, and everybody wants you to be. Everybody comes along, and at least everybody I meet, they help me to try to be better. I'm not running into people that want me to stop or be mean or what. I'm running into people that want to help me be more. Me personally, I think all that is an illusion because I don't see any of that. I have learned lots from screen learning. Oh, okay, cool. I knew screen learning was awake as soon as we talked on the thing. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this cat knows. He knows. Because you can't fake the language of debt free. It cannot be faked. And this is why I say it cannot be faked. Because first you have to know it exists. You can't fake something that you don't know exists. So if you've been in debt all your life and you believe debt is part of life and debt is just the way debt is always going to be there, you only speak debt. You have no idea the language of debt free exists. If you have said to yourself that you're going to die with student loans, yeah, you have no idea the language of debt free exists. How do I know this? You just said you're going to die with student loans. Oh, yeah, student loans is part of life. No, it's not. Only slaves say such things. Who got the money to buy a house in cash? Only slaves say such things. Slaves say such things. How I'm going to pay for a car in cash? Yeah, you better stop talking like a slave. Only slaves say that out loud in public. See how I say how easy it is to spot slaves? They say things that they believe to be true. When it doesn't make any mathematical sense at all, they're saying it out loud. Underground says right, and they will never know as long as they are inhibited to the banks. And excuse me, indebted to the banks. Yeah, they'll never know. They will never ever know. And underground, at the same time, business side, it has to be that way. If you guys are new to my channel and you're getting angry at what I'm saying, that anger is important. It must be that you must be angry at me. That's important. Because if you're angry at me, that means you like where you're at, or you don't want it to change, or whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as if it doesn't make mathematical sense, then yeah, that's just that. Especially the blockchain technology, they will track anyone who is a scammer. I think cryptocurrency is. I think it's hilarious. Honestly, I just think they just look. This is what they do, and it doesn't matter if people believe me or not. It doesn't matter, right? They say it's this highly encrypted, and the banks hate it, and it's got this blockchain technology that's uncrackable, and now the banks and central banks are nervous about it. Really? Who invented it? Oh, some mystery guy that they can't find, and he was in Japan somewhere, China, and he's hiding somewhere. They just believe all that stupid nonsense. They believe it all. Slaves have no idea. No currency under in any form exists for them. So if they put it this way, if they believe that the paper money in their hand exists, what do you think they can do with things that don't exist that they can't touch? That's unlimited. Oh, somebody broke in, stole 5 million, this and that, and blah blah blah, and they still keeping on throwing money in there. They just keep on doing it. You know, this is what slaves here. Okay, they say somebody broke in and stole 5 million. You know what slaves here? God damn, $5 million was in there. I'm getting me some of that. Then they invest their money some more in it. It's just, man, you can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. They up to ante to protect who they want to 1%. Sure do, man. Word, pay me in gold. Matrix is too damn big to be is unbeatable. Yeah, you can't. And I'm not even trying to check this out. I want everybody to understand something. I'm the system favors those who trust math. Period. The system is just there. It doesn't favor who don't trust math, and it favors who trust math. That's it. It's just there. But there are rules. You got to come up. If you come on this side, you got to follow the rules. You can't be cheating and lying and doing all this scamming and stealing from people and breaking all the laws. Who do you think, like, for example, who do you think makes the laws? The people that understand the system. You think you're just going to cross over by breaking the very laws and rules that they created? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm talking financial only. I don't want any slaves to veer off and start talking about some other stuff. I'm talking about financial laws. Mortgage is the asset. What's up, Dale? What's going on? Imagine owning trillions of dollars and being able to borrow trillions more. That only works for the government. Yep, sure do. ST Spring says businesses understand that debt-free lifestyle. I get a lot of stuff for free and fees waived because they know I'm not tied to them. Exactly. They know it. They know it. Why do you think? I know slaves don't understand this. Why do you think jobs are starting to ask for your credit? They want to run your credit report now. When you guys hear things that don't make sense, you got to question them. Those are things. Like when I was in debt and I first heard they ran your credit report, that just didn't make sense to me. Why? I was like, I'm not buying anything. Why do they want to see my credit report? And what I did, I thought to myself, oh, my credit's good. I'm not really worried about it. Even that doesn't make sense. Why would they want to look at your credit score? So what? Are you doing the job? Yeah. Then what your credit, if you're working there and you do a very good job for them, you're making money. Do you think they care what your credit report is, or your credit score is? No, they want to see how much debt you're in. By looking at your debt, they know where to place you, where not to place you inside of you might go working for a sensitive financial firm. You better believe they're going to run your credit report. If you're in debt, they won't place you around lots of money and stuff. It doesn't matter your criminal record. You definitely ain't getting in there with no criminal record, but I'm just saying then they'll just run your credit report and find out if you're deep in debt. They can't put you in too sensitive money areas. They'll put you in a certain place. Probably monitored at a certain level because of your debt amount. Slaves don't know that, but this is just my opinion. It just makes sense because it didn't make sense when I first heard it when I was in debt. Why did they want to know that information? Now I know. They'll know if you're going anywhere. If you're deep in debt, you ain't going nowhere for a very long time. You ain't going nowhere. Especially if you're deep in debt and you drive up to work in a brand new car, brand spanking new, they know you are not going anywhere anytime soon. They know you're going to be soon. You're going to be begging for overtime hours. You're going to be begging for it. You're gonna be begging for it. Oh man, when I get that overtime. I remember when I first this last job I had, man. I remember I started this job. I was about a weekend. All of a sudden, I get an email by the manager saying, "Hey man, you can't ask for overtime until you're here for 3 months." Now I'm debt free at this time, right? And I was like, "What? Who cares?" I wrote him back. I said, "Hey, don't worry about that. I won't be asking for any." I guarantee you, the manager never heard a response like that. Guaranteed. Why? Because he sent that notice out talking about I can't ask for overtime for 3 months. You know why he sent that message out? Because people are begging for it. So they got to get that message out there fast. He didn't even ask me. He just sent it to me. Like an automatic response. It was probably a prepaid, a pre-wrote email that he sends to all new employees, just to let them know, because they start begging for it right away. Hey man, you got any overtime? Why? Because they're in debt. Gambling to win the lottery instead of learning how to accumulate wealth. Sure is. Man, they just be, whoo, that lottery get up there. People getting on TV to start dreaming. Oh man, if I did this, and man, you know what I would do? And then all of a sudden, all the lottery commercials, they good. Lottery commercials are good, man. Just make them believe that it's a possibility of what they're showing them on the TV screen. If you just play, man. Just play. You can go on these vacations. You can do these boats. You can live in these big houses, man. Just play. And then they fall for it. But they don't lie to them. They say, but your chances in winning are 1 in 10 billion trillion. And you know what the slaves do? Hey, man, it's still a possibility. Okay, go ahead. It's crazy, man. Oh my God, they just do slaves. So they do you guys dirty, man. They do you guys dirty. They don't know that lottery winners are rigged. See, and when we use like underground, listen, when we say things like rigged and stuff like that, we're calling it we're calling it a scam. But if you just trusted math, you wouldn't play. You know, it wouldn't be. I don't play the lottery because I know I just don't play the lottery. I just that wouldn't make sense, right? I know that, but slaves don't. So it's not really rigged. It's just if you don't believe in math, you'll buy a lottery ticket if you don't believe in math, right? But if you believe in math, you're like, okay, I'm not buying a lottery ticket. Why? They said 1 in 10 billion trillion. I'm not. I'm not going to play it. Hmm. I had a boss that asked me outright how much debt I had. Then he laughed because he knew he had me. Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh, this is when you were This is when you were in debt. Then he laughed because he knew he had. Oh man, he must have asked you when you was in debt, Dale. Oh, did you really at that time, Dale? Did you understand the purpose of his laugh? What's up, Aaron B? It's Friday and LJ being a party pooper. Right. Uh, only to slaves. Lottery motto is, hey, you never know. I know, right? Hey, you never know. You probably never, but hey, I think it's brilliant though. It's still all, hey man, you gotta, when you see stuff like that, you gotta look at it always through business eyes. That is absolutely hands down brilliant, man. When that lottery starts getting up and up and up, I mean, these slaves just start getting ramped up. They're like, "Oh man, if I won that much money, oh my God!" And then bam, popped. I only have one item left from my credit report. This close to being debt free. Congrats! And I can always tell the people that are serious, like real, because they know how many's left. They'll say, "Man, I just got 2 more things." Because people in debt don't talk like that. They don't say, "Hey, man, They don't even know how many things they got in their credit report, let alone saying, "I got 2 left." Check this out. Slaves got pages and pages and pages on their credit report. Pages. They have no idea it only needs to be one with all zeros. They have no idea. Not zeros in credit score, zeros in debt. All zeros. That is what you cannot see when you're a slave. You don't know that. Better chance of getting hit with lightning than winning the lottery. Sure is. I learned a lot from screen learning too, man. Yeah, I could tell he knows his stuff, man. Dale says, didn't understand at the time. Lottery is a tax on poor people. The rich don't pay that one. Exactly. The rich people that, no, let me not say rich, okay? Because slaves get that confused thinking that just because they're rich, they don't pay taxes. No, people that understand money don't legally pay taxes. Okay. So I want you guys to clearly, because I know a slave won't understand that. You'll think I'm talking about tax evasion. So I want you to make sure you're clear. When you understand money, you can learn how to legally not pay taxes. Legally. You're probably thinking, whoa, what? I can't explain that part. But I can tell you this. If you want to ever legally not pay taxes, you cannot be in debt. That's impossible for you. Impossible. Thank you, Nicer. Underground says, I disagree. I think it is not a part of life, and I'm trying to repay my student loans. I think you're saying that. Oh, gotcha. It's not part of life, and I'm trying to pay. Sharif says, he said, what's up? Do you think all these YouTubers are making big money? Everyone sounds like they're rich, and everyone on Ramil's channel. No. And what I do is I go to a lot of channels to hear, because and I want you guys to understand something. This is very important, okay? People in debt speak debt. Okay, that's very important. I want you to understand. People in debt, it doesn't matter what level of YouTuber they're at, it doesn't matter how much money they're making. All I got to do is listen to them. And if I hear them speak debt, I will know that they are in debt. Because when you're not in debt, you don't say certain things. You don't say certain things out loud. You don't do certain things. You just don't. Especially when you speak about money. You don't say it. Now, there's one way when I listen, okay, I know they're doing it for business. Okay, I want you to understand there's a difference. Okay. There's some that understand how money works, but they're doing it to create business. I get that. I'm not disrupting anybody's business. Okay, hey, it is what it is. Slaves are slaves. Okay, I get it. Right. But then there's some that you clearly see that they're faking because they're speaking debt. They don't know that they're speaking debt. I want you to clearly understand they don't know what they're saying. Okay. They're just following the program just like everybody else, probably the people who taught them. This is how I personally can tell between the fakers and the real. Son of Israel says, I know much better now. I went ahead and got that 6,000 put on my principal. Just need to see about the LLC. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Put that on the principal. Man. Pay that joint off, man. You have no idea. Let me tell you something, son of Israel. You pay that off. That will catapult you financially ahead of millions of people at your age. Millions. That will catapult you like a damn rocket launcher. While millions of people believe in their homeowners, you will be one. While millions of people believe that the bank must be involved in all their financial affairs, You won't. You will have them in your life when you choose to have them in your life. When you involve, once you're out of debt, when you involve the bank, you will clearly understand. Hey, you'll be bringing a lawyer. Hey, my lawyer's going to look over all this stuff and making sure this is the absolute best rate ever on the market, what the market allows, whatever that is, whatever. All those will be crossed. But I want you guys to understand something too. They will already know that by a look at my credit report. They'll look at my credit report and they will clearly see that I'm not a slave. So they wouldn't insult me with like, hey, you want an FHA loan? Hey, how about this VA loan? They wouldn't insult me like that. That's an insult. But that would not happen. No, they're not. Take YouTube with a grain of salt. I don't. This is when I watch YouTube. I want you guys to understand something. When I watch YouTube, I look at it differently than a lot of people. I just look at, if I'm watching a video, I'll just look at them like, hey, this is the person they want me to see. I don't think they are the person that they're showing me on YouTube. I don't automatically assume that. I don't know that. I just look at it like this is the person that they're showing me on YouTube. I have no idea if this person's like that in public. In public, does he really have this stuff that we see on this computer screen? I don't know any of that stuff. That could be all a setup. It could be a stage. Hell, I don't know what it is. You guys think people don't go that far? Yes, they do. They do that to get to they do what it takes to get your money. You guys don't even understand that. They prop up cars and houses in the background. They're not saying any of that is theirs. You just have to believe it. Dennis says, Rodriguez says, can you talk about why you should own property under an LLC? Nah, I don't really get into that kind of stuff. I just want to stick with personal finances. I don't want to get too deep into other stuff like that. This is what I strongly suggest, Dennis. I strongly suggest you come on the Discord server. We have a SMD Discord server, and we have other SMD family members that are comfortable speaking on that type of stuff. And they could tell you way better than me because I don't know it like that, but I know the direction to point you to people that do know about that. See what I'm saying? And these people that I point are debt free. So they're going to give you something that, say, like others in their field were in debt. These guys will be able to give you something that those people cannot. If you take out personal loan, you can't use for business, and LLC protects you from your personal account. What's up, Gabriel? COVID has changed my life forever. How's it change your life, Gabriel? E-Man says, me either. I laugh, take what I need, and leave. E-Man says, facts, LJ. Dale says, credit reports are institutional shaming. I'm debt free, and they punish me for not having recent payment history. I know. I don't even look at. I get alerts from my thing. Hey, your credit score has changed. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't immediately go and look because they don't send out those alerts just to be nice. They send those alerts out to panic you. Like, people worship their credit scores, right? They just, hey, it's everything. So if a person that, like slaves, they worship their credit and they get an alert like that, hey, your credit scores changed. What the first thing they're gonna do is run over there and look at it. And then as soon as they log in, they probably get some advertising. Hey, this credit card will save your interest rate. Hey, if you move this and move that and added that, this will be. They just keep selling them. That's on a look on a. It's not under this video yet, but I will. But look under the previous videos. You will see the Discord URL. Okay. So if you're new to the channel, and maybe you feel offended by the word slave, does it bother you? Does it anger you? Or, I'm sure you've never come across a channel like this. I promise you, not many of us are on YouTube. Okay, it's not. Well, not many of us that will tell you straight up the way it is on YouTube. Let's just put it that way. Because again, I mean, business is business, man. I'm not knocking anybody that's making money that understands money. I'm not. That's business, especially if they're doing it legally. Sometimes I'll hear a lot of stuff like this. Hey, Grant Cardone or this other person, they're a ripoff, and then this and that, and they're stealing people's money. Well, if they were stealing people's money, wouldn't they be in prison? If you steal money, that means you're in prison. That means you go to jail. Because check this out. Because if he's stealing money, like say like this, you got to. And I've been hearing this for years. I'm not going to mention the person I'm talking about, but if he's been stealing money for years, maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't know. But if it's illegal, it's going to happen. It's eventual, because if he's stealing money, that means he can't claim it. If he can't claim it, that's tax evasion. You see what I'm saying? It has you. It's a loop. Because if you're stealing people's money, you cannot claim the money, because they're going to say, hey, where'd this money come from? So you can't claim it. So that, guess what? That means you got to lie on your credit report. See how it connects? But people in debt, you guys don't know that. I don't know why you don't know that, but it's not going to make sense. So then when it happens, you're going to say, hey, oh, we found out that you made, you try to hide it over here, but we found this $20 million. And since you hid it, that means it's tax evasion on top of stealing people's money. And then you're buried. Now you're forever slave. Where we at here? K-Max says credit is BS. When I paid off my car, my credit score dropped 40 points. I know they're punishing you. You know what that means, K-Mac? How dare you, slave? How dare you cut us off on that money we're making on you? We're going to punish you. We're going to drop your score, slave. That's what it is. It's a punishment. You ever hear some? I remember when I was in debt, people say, there was a couple of times I had said like this, hey man, I should just pay off this $1,000. I remember I had $1,000 credit card. I was thinking to myself, I should just pay off this $1,000 credit card. You know, people around me said, hey man, don't do that, man. If you do that, man, your credit score is going to drop and it's going to affect your credit score. You know what I did? I kept it open, kept on using it. That's a scare tactic for slaves. If you ever hear somebody, and again, if you want to live in my world, this is all you got to do. Ask all your friends, ask 10 of your friends, say, hey man, you think it's a good idea to close a credit card? See how many of them say, hey man, no, don't close your credit card. You're supposed to have 20% utilization to do this, and then you're supposed to keep your credit score up, because if you close it, your credit score will drop. I want you to see how many say that to you. And all those people that say that to you, guess what? They're slaves. They're just passing on slave information. They just keep on passing it to you. If you ask the slave, hey man, where'd you learn that information? You know what they're gonna say? They told me. Who's they? Oh man, I heard they said, who's they? That's what I'm asking you. You ask a slave, hey man, you keep saying they. Who is they? They'll never have an answer for you. I was a slave when I was religious. Now I'm free and not offended. Exactly. I was a slave 40 years, man. I'm gonna tell you guys something. The bad part of waking up at 40, it angers me. It used to anger me a lot. It used to anger me a lot, because when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I have been fucking around. Now you guys know I don't cuss much, but that cuss word is it's like a you know how Samuel L. Jackson needs to cuss in movies for it to be Samuel L. Jackson movie? That's what I'm talking about. That's why that cuss word needs to be there. If you are in debt and you don't even know how much debt you're in, you are fucking around. I woke up at 40. I was like, oh my God. You mean I could have been a millionaire in my 20s? Yes. Mm. Gilbert says, I'm too young to know this knowledge. Yeah. Math doesn't have an age. Rock Den, yeah, this is disrespectful, calling people slave. Catch a flight. I like that. I like that. Why is it so, D-Rock, why is it offensive or disrespectful to who? And when you say it's disrespectful, Disrespectful to who? Other slaves or who? Who are you talking about is disrespectful, or just you? You got to be clear, man. You just can't throw generalities out there. You got to say, who are you talking about? Other slaves or you? K Max says, I couldn't believe it. I thought it would go up. Oh no. Oh no. Andre says they can't sell access to a score if you're not paying. Exactly. I know. All those things that didn't make sense when I was in debt. I was like, damn, I only can get my credit report once a year for free, but I can buy it from one of these companies. I was like, that didn't make sense. But guess what I did? I went on ahead and bought it. I want to know my credit score because they sell it to you. Some places they don't even let you see it unless you pay it. That's just crazy. Yes, they have changed the FICO game. Again, this don't even make any sense. People be studying that dumb shit too. You're telling the truth. I have to, man. I can't do it any other way. Caleb says, fake till you make it. That's what all the slaves say. Fake it till you make it. You know what that really means? Go in debt until you make it. That's what it means. Underground says, yes, these financial institutions run your credit score. The company may also have clients that will secretly do background checks on any staff member that have bad credit. You better believe it. They ain't putting you in anywhere sensitive if it has to do with money. If they run your credit report and see you are deep in debt, no, you're not going anywhere. You're going to be like, hey, how come Susie got this job and he's been here for 1 year and I've been, because they're probably debt free. I've been here for 5 years and Susie's only been here for a year, or they just started and hired somebody. Yeah, because they're debt free. You're probably thinking, oh, they got college, they got a degree, they went to this college and this and that. And that. No, they probably went to college, but they're debt free. That's the difference. Gabriel said, just find it funny when LJ makes fun of slaves. They're choosing to be slaves. LJ, you weren't a slave for 40 years, only the years from when you first got your first debt to. Yeah, that's true. Huh. I say 40 years because I didn't wake up to age 40. That's the only reason why I said 40 years. But, you know, I just can't believe nobody told me this information for all that time. Yeah, you hear, hey man, buy cash, don't if you can't afford it, don't pay. You hear all those statements, right? I always heard all those statements, okay? I did, right? But nobody sat down and said, hey, let me show you with mathematics so you can see your true net worth. Nobody said that to me. Nobody said, hey man, do you know how much debt you're in? I would have said no. I would have took a wild guess. Nobody said, hey, man, this is your net worth. And I would have looked at it and said, wow, that's a big negative number. Yeah, that's a negative number. That's what your net worth is. So from this net worth, from negative $200,000 or $300,000, how much money can you contribute to your 401k with this amount of money? You can't. Then why do you think you are, Linnell? Okay, Linnell, if this is your net worth, how come you think you're investing in the stock? What money are you investing in the stock market? How much of this money can you invest in the stock market? You know what I would have said? I can't. Why not? Because it's in the negative. Then why do you think you are? Nobody said it to me like that. Nobody said it to me like that. Hey, Linnell, you couldn't afford to buy this house in cash, right? No, no, I couldn't. So you needed the bank's money to buy it. So that means it's the bank's house, right, Linnell? Yeah. Then why do you believe the equity is yours in a house you don't own? Nobody said it to me like that. They changed the FICO score to make it difficult for the working class to get access to wealth. Well, no, well, credit is a business. Okay, credit is nothing more than a business. It's nothing more than a business. And I want people to understand this, okay? Nobody is restricting your access to wealth. That's another illusion. There's plenty. I keep repeating this. There's plenty for everybody. Nobody's restricting your access to wealth. I promise you. All you have to do is believe in mathematics and you'll see. FICO is an acronym. Two guys started the business. It's a business. The whole credit score is the whole credit thing is the business. It's just a business. People choose to participate. You don't have to participate in the credit game. I want you guys to understand something. It's a business. You don't have to participate. At least on the personal side. On the business side, oh yeah, you must participate. Let's put it this way. On the personal side, you don't have to participate. On the business side, you must participate because you would not be in business. You have to participate in the credit game. Check this out. Try to open up a store only accepting cash. You would be closed. You would be out of business so fast. You'd be out of business so fast. Yeah, I only accept cash here. Really? All right, you out of business. And people that, hey man, only people in debt think like this, like, hey man, I don't use Visa and MasterCards because their fees are too high. Why are you paying the fees? Whatever Visa, MasterCard, you pass that to the customer. What are you paying it for? Of course you got to use their service. Because if you don't use their service, you're going to be out of business. Try to cut out the credit card companies out of your business. You are out of business ASAP. Slaves don't know that everything is credit. Everything. Their whole lives is based on credit. They're in the negative. You can't buy anything with negative dollars. That's mathematically impossible. Everything they do is on credit. So when you hear slaves talk about investing, they're borrowing money. When you hear about slaves investing in retirement, they're borrowing money. They're not really making that interest. They're not. It doesn't even exist. All you got to do is make them believe it exists. Why? How? By not trusting mathematics. That's it. Nah, bro, it sucks that our president pays 750. Why does that suck? That's amazing to me. That's absolutely amazing. You make billions of dollars and you pay only $750 in taxes. That's absolutely amazing. Hey, who's his team? Whoever his team is, they're worth every single penny. Because you better believe the president, did you think he sat down and did his own taxes? No. He has a bunch of debt-free people that understand the real economy. 750, and he donates his salary. What does that tell you? Well, what's that tell you? Okay, you better be joking, Gabriel. What's that tell you? He donates his salary and pays $750 in taxes. What's that tell you? He got an awesome team. It's not the people you have that are deep in debt. It's not your CPA that has 25-year-old student loans. I promise you, that CPA your CPA can't see this. If your tax person has a home and been financing their home, refinances, you got the wrong tax person. They can't see it either. Growing up, you hear decoded messages like build your credit up by financing small things. Yep, I remember that. Then that you can't afford, so that you can have a high score to finance more stuff that you can't afford. Exactly. I remember hearing that. I remember when my first credit card was a JC Penney's credit card. And I remember saying to myself as a teenager, I remember saying this to myself, why do I have to use this plastic when I can just buy the shirt right now? That's what I remember saying to myself. I used to say that. I said it. I was like, I could just buy the shirt with the money I have, but I guess I got to use this plastic to build my credit up for. I was like, okay. And then I just followed along ever since. Work my way up to a more deeper credit card or more higher, because that's the goal. That's the next step. You got to get credit cards with higher and higher limits. For what? Nobody stopped me and said, "Hey, Lynell, why do you want that? Why do you want higher and higher limits for what?" I would have had no answer for that person. The slaves brag. Check this out. Slaves brag about their credit card limits. They brag about it. Brag about money that's not even theirs. It's not even their money. Oh, my credit card limit's 50,000. Why are you telling me that? I don't get it. The bank said you can borrow $50,000 of their money if you use that piece of plastic. That's what you mean, right? Shit, like I said, man, it's not a person, it's a team. He got a team. Believe that. When you get out of debt, you can start enjoying paying your bills because you look at them as a service for sure for your lifestyle instead of the grim reaper to your banking. That's exactly how you look at it, Whammy. You're right. You respect, honestly, man, when you get out of debt, you respect people's service. When somebody when somebody offers you a good service, you know what you're looking for? You're not looking for a deal. You're looking for something that's going to either save you time or enhance your life. You're not going to say, "Hey, man, that I'm gonna get that one because it's $5." No, no, I'm not going to get that service because it's $5. I need something that's going to benefit me. I'm not going to just because it's a great deal. You'll pay. You'll pay for what the quality that you get. When people come to me and I create plans for them, they know what I give them is quality proven by mathematics. You follow these steps, you will be free. If you do this, I know certain things on that I give you won't make sense. Why would I do that? Why would I ever file bankruptcy? Whatever. I'll just show you with math. This is why I'm telling you this. And I will never tell you nothing illegal. Everything I tell you follows the law. People are saying he's in IRS trouble. It just when I hear stuff like that, it just sounds so stupid. It's so dumb to hear stuff like that. When people say, "Oh man, I heard he's in trouble," did the president talk to you? You talked to the president personally? Did the president say, "Hey, Susie, some stranger, I'm in IRS trouble"? Unless you heard from the president, that's just where'd you hear that from? Sharif says, "L, debt only helps your lifestyle. Do you agree? Debt only helps your lifestyle. Do no, that doesn't help. No. How would debt help a lifestyle? I don't get that part. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I'm reading that wrong." Andre says it's the opposite. Debt reduces your quality of life. Yeah, exactly. See how Andre responds? That's what I'm saying. It's like I just tell me what you mean. That doesn't make sense to me. Because your question is more telling me about what you believe about debt, right? Because I know debt is just debt. It doesn't do anything. It's just there, right? It doesn't make my life better. It doesn't make my life worse. I just know it's there. Stores like Nordstrom's always try to get you to get their store card, credit card. The answer every time is no. Every store I go to, they say, "Hey, man, you want to save 10% off this shirt today or whatever?" No. Mm-mm. You want to open a, hey, you think about opening a credit? No. Mm-mm. I know why they do that. Slaves. Slaves really believe they're going to save 10% if they open a credit card on a shirt. No, they're not saving 10%. First of all, the shirt don't even cost what they're paying for it right there. They don't even know that. They don't even know that. And then they get a credit card. They can, "Oh, I could just keep this money in my pocket." Yeah, that's what you think, slave. I know you think that. "Man, I was gonna spend this whole $30 on this shirt, but I can keep that in my pocket and use this credit card right now." "Oh yeah, we'll approve you right away so you can get started shopping." All of this is summed up by my chains are shiny. All this is summed up by my chains are shinier than yours. Sure is. They don't. Hey, hey, screen. They don't know that they're comparing chains. They don't. Slaves don't. Man. Oh God. See, sometimes when I get different debt-free eye views, man, I ain't even think of that one. Man, you guys just be showing your shiny chains. Oh, when you roll up in a new car that you're making payments on for 84 months, you're showing everybody your new shiny chain. You just added another link. And you got student loans, you just added that car link to your student loan link. And then when you go on vacation and you put the whole vacation on a credit card, now you added a vacation link. Now imagine you just keep doing that over and over. Everything you do, every time you refinance your house, finance a new car, you're just adding another link to your chain. Ooh. Live says, if one has family and is trying to pay off debt mortgage and they die, would it be wise for them to have life insurance in order to keep the roof over the? Yeah, that'd be smart to have life insurance for sure. If that money's going to be used to pay off the house, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna tell you guys this. If I had known this earlier, you know what I would have did when I was young? If I was taught, I would have stayed out of debt. I would have got life insurance policies on me. I sure would have got that, especially at a young age. You start young and you're debt free. Get a life insurance policy and a good one. I mean, you find a debt free person that understands life insurance policies. Okay, you ask to see their credit report first. I know it doesn't make sense. It's very important. Okay, and then you find out, and then you do that, man. And then and if you raise your kids to understand money, they will know what to do with that life insurance money. They won't squander it. They won't throw it away. They'll know by what you have taught them growing up. You won't let social media get a hold of them. Get out of debt for sure. Sharif says, debt helps your lifestyle because you can live in a nicer neighborhood and drive a better car, even if you don't have the money. Well, Sharif, that's slave splaining. Only Sharif, only slaves would ever make a statement like that out in public in front of people. Only slaves do that. They think that. You slaves really believe that. It doesn't improve anything. They own nothing. The lifestyle that they believe is true is not true because they have no money. The car that they're driving, they don't even know the car is not theirs. Yeah, they're driving, that's the bank's car. That's the bank's house. And on top of that, they're owned by their employer because they can't quit. Why? Because they're in debt. Slaves don't know that that's the hamster wheel. And I'm gonna give you guys some advice that I wish somebody told me when I was in debt. They always talk about, hey man, you get on the rat in the running wheel and blah blah blah. They always say that. I remember hearing that. Nobody told me what the wheel was. You see the wheel, but nobody just they make it look like you're the rat, right? You're looking in this thing. Everything has to change, not just the rat. Now you got to say to yourself, okay, what does that wheel represent? It represents you creating links of your chain, just like you're creating the wheel. When you finance a car, and then you get credit cards, and then you finance a house and believe you're a homeowner, and then you finance vacations, and then you finance furniture, and then you finance the new dining room redone and the bathroom and all that stuff, and you finance it all. That's your wheel that you created. That's the wheel that you keep running on. Nobody ever told me I was the one that created the wheel. They just said the wheel's there, and I just thought it was a wheel. No, literally, when you look at your eyes, it's a wheel, but it's something it represents something that you create. Andre says you must have the appropriate amount of life insurance if loved ones are counting on you. Yes, This is how, life people in debt don't really understand life insurance. That's part of creating wealth. You can use life insurance to build generational wealth. Okay, generational. You could start them right off, but the people that are in it, they must understand how money works, else it'll never work. It wouldn't matter if you gave each one of your children, say like you had 5 children, you had life insurance to give them each $5 million a piece. It won't matter if they're in debt. People in debt will get that amount of money. You know what they'll do? They will believe they can afford a bigger mortgage payment, a bigger car payment. They can afford more credit card debt. That's how slaves think. The money doesn't change anything unless the people understand how money works. All I heard is you don't have the money, so earn more. Exactly. Dale says companies like GM make more money from financing the vehicles than from producing the vehicles. I know. It's crazy that like you see the new Corvette and we're talking about $80,000. All a slave got to do is say, "Hey, wait a minute. Are you telling me it costs $80,000 to build that one Corvette?" No, it didn't. No, they told you that. Slaves don't ever question that. They don't like, did it really cost $80,000 to build this car? No, it didn't. They're just telling slaves that. But you got to remember at the same time, Corvette been in business for years. They earned that right. They earned it. They earned the name Corvette. I mean, I'm not knocking them for what they do. I'm just telling you the reality. It didn't cost $80,000 to build one Corvette. It didn't. I don't care how loaded it is. I promise you it didn't. This kind of talk will crash the economy. Not enough. Because you know why, Kayla? You think that? Because you think slaves can hear me. They can't hear me. This kind of talk will crash the economy. What kind of talk? I promise you, share this with 10 of your friends. They won't even understand a word I'm saying. They won't even hear me. It doesn't matter who you share this. It wouldn't even matter who you share this with. It doesn't matter. They can't hear me. They're in debt. Life insurance allows someone to profit when you perish. Exactly. El Mano says, would you still consider someone a 1% slave if they are debt free and their passive income covers their rent every month? Uh no, I see what you're saying. No, because in actuality, your passive income is paying your rent, which means your passive income earned by some other entity or people are contributing to that passive income, which in turn is paying your rent. See what I'm saying? So no, I wouldn't consider a person a 1% slave, right? And there's different ways. I mean, there's talking to like my friend Andre. The best thing is not to even have a house in my name. Rent from myself, rent from my business. So even when you hear somebody say they're renting, you can't really, unless you know that they're debt free. When they say they're renting, that could mean something else. Okay, only slaves think it's bad to rent, but it counts on how you're renting. And actually, the smart thing is to rent from yourself. Wayman Brown says it's a simple way to pass down wealth. Yep, it's simple. And see how Wayman says it's simple? You say that to slaves, they'll be like, nah, it's not simple. No, it's not. It's complicated than that. And there's way more variables, the economy, the rise, the dollar's crashing and this and that. They throw all these things in there. Just don't know nothing about any of it. They're just repeating what they've heard. Oh man, the dollar is not worth this, and the Swiss is higher than that, and the Canadian dollars are, yeah, whatever. Who told you that? Something you saw on the internet? Where'd you see that? Oh, my friend on Facebook said this, and okay, well, that's what I figured. Slave talk. Underground says, I'm working on being a millionaire in my 30s. All you got to do is envision it first. First, you got to mentally be there. First, you mentally catapult yourself into being, what are you going to do when you get that $1,000,000? What are you going to do? Where are you going to live? What kind of house you thinking about getting? All that. First, you got to envision it. That's what I envision. That's why I'm even here today on this mic. I envision it. And this has nothing to do with ego or anything. I've always known since I was a kid that I wasn't like everybody else. I've always known that. Always. I always walked around knowing that I was different. Always. It's nothing that I said. No, I wasn't the best football player, basketball player, because when you're growing up, you think you have to be one of those type of people to be somebody. No, that's not true. None of that is true. You don't have to be an NBA player or football player to be somebody. No, you decided in your mind if you want to be somebody or big or whatever you want to be, whatever it is, you are somebody. But I'm saying if you want to be out in the public eye like that, great. You just make up your mind and you just do it. So just picture yourself there and you'll be there. Again, you got to get on the Discord server, Amano. And like I said, other SMD family members will be on the Discord server and they can give you more details about that kind of stuff. I want to stick with personal finances only because I don't want to step over that line. I don't really feel like, I don't really want to explain that. But all I'm saying is this: if you want to understand it, you must be debt free first. You can't, if you're in debt, it'll be 100% mathematically impossible for you to rent from yourself. Okay. If you follow somebody else's footsteps, then you a slave. Awesome. If you follow somebody else's footsteps, then you a slave. I have no idea what that means. What does that mean, Aaron? What are you saying? If you follow somebody else's footsteps, then you a slave. Create your own path and chase your own dreams. And see, I want you guys to understand something too. Dreams, you got to remember, anything you hear dream, that means you got to be asleep. Okay. Anything, hey, the American dream, follow your dreams. And no, you just got to picture in your mind, say, no, this is reality. I'm not going to be asleep. But when you picture these things, you got to mean it. It can't be faked. You can't be doing it because you see somebody else doing it, right? Or you can't be doing it because you see somebody else making a lot of money. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna do that too because he's making a lot of money. No, it doesn't work like that. Because if you're doing it for the money, it's wrong. Your path, you're gonna know where you're going to go. You're going to know the direction. You're going to know which way to go. You're going to say, you're not going to really care about how people feel about it. It doesn't matter. It's something that will pull you towards it. A lot of people around you won't understand it. It doesn't matter because they got their own paths. You just cannot let it disrupt yours. It doesn't matter who it is. These schools don't educate people on personal finance because enrollment will decrease astronomically. Yeah, in my opinion. Oh, no, that's true. But again, I keep saying, public schools are government controlled, so they follow the government curricula. It seems pretty obvious to me. This is not hidden. I mean, when I'm telling you guys, like, check this out, okay? I look at the things that just don't make sense, right? You got these school teachers that go to school to get a degree to teach a grade, but they got to go into $75,000 worth of debt. But when they start, they only make $30,000, $35,000 a year. They will never get out from under that debt. And then they try to start a family and have kids. You'll never get out of that debt ever. So now These teachers that are in mounds of debt are teaching our children. Now I'm saying this, I want you to understand something. I'm not saying this in a negative way. I want you to see something mathematically. And and I know I picked teachers, but I want you to look at everything: doctors, lawyers. It doesn't matter the occupation. I don't want, because I don't want to get stuck on that, right? It doesn't matter the occupation, right? Imagine how many people went to college to get a certain degree to go to a field, and now when they get in that field, they don't like it, but they can't leave it now because that's their only source of income because of the type of the degree they got. Can you imagine how many people are trapped in those professions that can't leave? So what kind of quality of work or what kind of quality of teaching are you think you're going to get unconsciously? They don't probably don't know consciously that they're doing it. Can you imagine going to a doctor that just he can't stand what he does, but he can't leave because he's in debt? What kind of healthcare service are you going to get? That's important. But again, same note. We need slaves for the economy to work. We need slaves that are doctors. We need slaves that are lawyers. We need slaves that are everything. It doesn't matter their occupation, they're just slaves. Their occupation titles or whatever only matters to them. If they're in the negative, they are all the same. They just don't know it. They don't know they're all the same. They think because they live in different neighborhoods, wear different clothes, drive different cars, they think they're different. They're all the same. They're only fooling themselves. Once you accept taking out debt for education, wedding dresses, births, wedding rings, honeymoons, trips, houses, boats, or cars, you already lost. Getting debt far more than one gives a what? Getting debt for more than one gives a generational loss. It does, man. I did all that too, man. I did all that, man. I got a good friend, man. And you guys know I don't be involved in my feelings, but for some reason, man, I just want this one friend to wake up, man, but he is gone. He is just gone. I mean, he bought a boat in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. He bought a boat. I was like, I thought to myself, Linnell, you might as well just shut up. Just shut up. Just you tell the SMD family, you tell all your people that listen to you, don't involve your feelings. Well, you're doing it now, Linnell. Okay, you got it. It doesn't matter who it is. You know that. So I had to just stop talking about it. Now, just like we still cool, man. But I just be like, damn. Facts, LJ. A college classmate had a marketing degree. After graduation, he told me he didn't know what to do with it with his degree. Sad, didn't even know what to do. Just went to. Can you imagine how many people go to college because that's what they've been told to do? How many believe that they ain't nothing without a college degree? Hey, man, you don't got a college degree, you a nobody. Now says who? Who? There go they again. Who's they? When you hear somebody say that to you, and somebody and you ask them, who told you that? If they say they, you say, who is they? I'm gonna tell you whose they are. Other slaves. Other slaves. When I was in debt, I never knew who they was. I always heard they's name, but never knew who they were. Other slaves. That's who's they. That's who they are. Underground says, I see. It's all about believing in mathematics. That's it. You believe in math. You trust it. If it doesn't make, just listen to this statement. If you carry this statement out through your whole entire financial life, you will always win with money. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense. CENTS. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense. If you carry that with you, anything to do with your money, if you always remember that statement, You will always win with money. Always. Andre says that is because they don't understand opportunity costs. Nope. Opportunity costs. Sure is. Believe that. I understand that term now. Didn't really understand it then. I understand it now. But even with that, I promise you, when you know, it is. There's no guess. There's no guesswork. Like the direction I'm going now, there's nothing promised to me. I'm not promised to be big as Dave Ramsey. I'm not promised to be all over YouTube as the biggest financial blah 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 ever. None of that's promised. All I know is this is the direction. And you know how I know? I'm gonna tell you guys so you'll know, just in case if you're feeling and hearing that voice and you're deciding you don't want to come out of, because there's somebody outside the debt matrix trying to help you out. All you got to do is trust math and they'll get you out. Sure did. Me too. I forgot that too. See, slaves they don't really hear that part. Even if you told them, you know what? If you even if the slaves knew he donated his paycheck, you know what they're gonna say? Oh man, he makes all this money anyway. That's why he's able to do it. They see it all wrong instead of saying, wait a minute, how much money is he making if he got enough to donate a $400,000 a check? You mean that's nothing to him? That's what's he doing? They just think, oh, he's special and this and that and blah blah blah. Nope. I might not even care to use my degree. I know. I got a computer engineering degree. And the actual thought of going back and doing what I used to do makes me sick to my stomach. There is no way I mean, I was making salary, and let me tell you guys, you IT professionals, let me tell you something, man, which I didn't know. I know this is kind of off topic, but if you're making a salary, this is what I want you to do. If you're making a salary, I want you to go back and read your contract, and I want you to see in your contract what they are paying you for your salary. 40 hours a week, five Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 40 hours a week. And this is what I want you to do. Then I want you to calculate how many hours that you are actually working during that week. When you answer an email, you get a call in the middle of the night, you get a text that you got to respond to, and then you get on and then you do something on your computer, you're cool with it because you're at home. But I want you to add up all those hours. And then I want you to say the hours that you actually work minus the hours that they're paying you for. That amount of hours you're giving away for absolutely free. Free. If you're afraid to leave your phone somewhere because the job might call, they own you 24 hours a day. But they're paying you for 40 hours. Dale says the public education system is only meant to create more slaves. It's a great system for destroying creativity and individuality. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. I remember hearing even that. I remember hearing that. Oh man, that's you thinking in your mind, oh, that's not true. Well, now I understand. There must be more slaves than not. It has to be that way. Again, when I was in grade school, they told me the answer in grade school. When it came to finances, they told me, they said, hey man, a dime equals this. And if you add 9 more, it equals $1. If you take away a dime, now it's 90 cents. And then they added that with money, and that's all they needed to tell me. Now it's like, okay, well, if you choose not to listen, if you choose not to use what we told you in grade school, that's on you. Kayla says debt is a great motivator for people to get up in the mornings to go to work. Sure is. Waking up at that, hearing that alarm go off, knowing that you don't want to go. Slaves say it on social media all the time. Oh man, I hit that snooze button. You know why you're hitting the snooze button? Because you don't want to go where you have to go because you're in debt. That's why you got to get up. You're a slave. Andre says W-2 income is repulsive to him. He don't. He said repulsive. He donates to eliminate the taxes. Sure does. Good luck on understanding that, slaves. I bet you, if you're in debt, you have no idea what Andre just said. Not a clue. Nor will you ever. You will never understand what he said. You can't. It's impossible for you. Doesn't matter if you like what I'm saying. Doesn't matter. Slaves only count when we want you to, when we need you. Rather than that, hey man, you guys just keep doing what you're doing. It's not dumb if they don't know. Exactly. Hey, they just don't know. Andre says, we hate income that increases our taxes. Sure do. Don't like that. Again, don't worry about it if you're in debt. Don't you can't put it this way. If you're in debt, it's impossible for you to decrease your taxes. Okay. Whatever you're doing that you believe you're doing, you think you're not. Like you're probably in debt to your house $300,000, but you're contributing about $5,000 a year to your 401k, and you probably believe that you're getting $5,000 off your taxable income. No, you're not. I know you are on paper, okay, but according to the laws of mathematics, you're not. Okay, according to the laws of the United States, you are. Okay, but according to the laws of mathematics, you're not. Okay. Sharif says, L, what's too much to pay for housing? I'm paying $15,000 a year with no debt. Well, what's that? A little over $1,000 a month. I'm just, you know what? I'm saying like this. I'm saying like this. I'm not saying you have to own a house to be anybody. All I'm saying is this. By owning a house, you will have eliminated the biggest expense that you will ever have in your entire life. If you pay off a house now, you will never have rent again for the rest of your life. Like if you took 5 strong years to be dedicated to pay off the house, 5 years, right? For the rest of the time that you live in that house, you will never have rent again. And so if you died in that house, you will never have rent again. Check this out. Even if you decided to move, you will never have rent again. You know why? Because you'll sell that house, take the cash, and buy another house for cheap from a slave with cash, because you will have cash. Housing market prices will no longer apply to you. I want you to understand something. When you pay your house off, right, you own it. So whatever the housing market goes for, it doesn't apply to you, because you're gonna buy your house from a slave. Tax liens, behind on payments. I don't know. Name a million of them. It doesn't matter, because the housing market wouldn't exist without slaves. Slaves with mortgages that believe they're homeowners. But since you will be one, you have the right chess piece. You're moving with the right chess piece. You're moving in ways they can never see because they're in debt. They don't know this kind of stuff exists. When you want quality, you don't pay to lower its value. Yeah, that's what and that's what I've noticed too. The type of clients that I'm getting, they understand the way I am, because they know, they can hear it in my voice that I understand something that they may not know. And I'm proving everything I'm saying with mathematics, right? They probably, some make good money and they know how to make money, but they still know they were missing a piece. Something's missing. And I always tell them, I am that piece. Here, I'll show you. And now it's totally different. All right, you guys, I've been on here for over 2 hours, man. It's time for me to get off this joint. Thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. Appreciate it. I am going to hit the. It's only 7:51 here, but I'm going to chill for the rest of the night. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I probably will upload all the links and stuff to at a later date or tomorrow. Probably. I don't feel like doing all that tonight. All right, you guys have a good night. Talk to you later. Okay. All right, later.